Hello, all. Good evening. This is Raj Misa, your video marketing coach, and today we are blessed to have Deepak Khemani, who is also one of the best-selling author, two-time TEDx Gateway Unplugged speaker, planner, YouTuber, and a keynote speaker. So Deepak G is a YouTuber because I'm very excited to see his videos, which are right here. Deepak ji, please introduce yourself to our audience as to your entire journey, um, when you have started trading or when you have uh, been into stock market.
Okay, so my name is Deepak Khemani, and I am a financial planner by profession. So I advise people on how to manage their finances, where to invest, and again, financial planning is a lot more than about investing only. So there is insurance planning, there is legacy planning, there is estate planning. But the first thing with most people understand is investing. So my first entry into investing was obviously when I became 18 years old. When one
Wow.
gets a chance to invest, you have a bank account in your name, you can write out a check and you can decide what to do. Now that was quite long ago. I am just now 53 years old. I was
Wow.
18 years in 1984.
Was your dad a
Now,
stockbroker or was your dad into
okay, yes,
investments?
good question. So my dad was into advising people on their investments. We also need to
Wow.
understand that in 1984 there was actually only one investment in those days, and it used to be
Yes.
LIC
Yes.
policy. It used
Oh,
to be
okay.
LIC policy and fixed deposits. There wasn't any other investment as such which people did. So as a
Okay.
family, we are into distribution of financial products from 1963. My dad has been doing it even before I was born.
Wow.
So the lure of money investing has always been there from the beginning. Coincidentally,
Hmm.
the BSE Sensex, the Bombay Stock Exchange, the BSE Sensex
Okay.
as we know it, we get to hear that the Sensex went up 2,000 points or fell 2,000 points. What is this 2,000 points? The Sensex was established in 1979 at a base of 100, which means that,
Yeah,
let's say,
before I was born.
in 1979. It was actually established in 1981, but they rebased it to 100 in 1979. So let's make it very simple for you to what that 100 means. And when I say the Sensex has fallen or risen, what does that mean? It simply means that if in 1979 you had 100 rupees,
Yeah.
okay?
I
And if
if
you
I
had
had
just
100
put that,
rupees.
if you had 100 rupees in 1979, and if you invested that 100 rupees in the Sensex, today that 100
Okay.
rupees is worth 28,000. What is the value of the Sensex? It is worth that much.
Wow.
That is what
So
it
it's like,
means.
okay. I follow this CA Archana Ranade,
Shade one. Yeah,
and for the first time, in fact, in last 40 years, I've
yeah.
never seen anybody's videos watching for close to 2 hours. She has
Ah,
this stock market basic lessons. So I was like
okay.
wondering, oh God, the way. But if you don't know the basics, if you don't know the fundamentals, you will
Yeah,
be doomed. As in, if you don't have
always.
a strong foundation. So I was
Any
like,
industry, anywhere. Yeah, yeah,
as I was going through the stuff, I thought, okay, अरे हमारा दीपक जी है, and I went to your YouTube channel. As everybody who is seeing on the screen, please subscribe to Deepak Khemani's YouTube channel, because the wealth which is in the advice which is there through that videos, anybody can easily survive not only in this market crisis but through any of their financial journey.
yeah.
So I'll, if
Thank
you
you.
have any questions out there, people who are listening to this, who are hitting the replay, please leave your comments. There were like 10 to 15 people who popped in or popped out. So at the age of 18, Deepak ji, you started, and
Yes.
so you, what is that you started with?
Good question. So, in those days, the stock market was just becoming popular with people. What used to happen? There used to be a lot of IPOs. What is an IPO? Is an initial public offering.
Yeah.
Whenever any company offers its shares to the public, it is offered through an IPO, initial public offering. So in those days, a lot of these companies, which are marquee names, which are very big names, were actually getting established in the early 1980s. 84, 85, 86, 87. I'll just name a
Okay.
few. There was Hero Honda. There was HDFC
MRF.
Bank. All your new public sector, these private sector banks. Many of these auto companies were getting established after 1984. This was the time when Rajiv Gandhi had become the prime minister and he had opened up India for foreign investment. So all these foreign companies, in collaboration with Indian companies, were setting up these manufacturing plants and new companies. So TVS Suzuki, TVS Motors, Hero Honda. So I remember as an 18-year-old, whenever these opportunities used to come, we used to
Hmm.
always apply in the IPO. And because we were,
Okay.
typically small middle class people, in those days the application for IPOs used to be for a minimum of 100 shares, and most
Whoa.
of the
Okay.
IPOs used to be at 10 rupees. That was the advantage of having invested in those days. Nowadays, no company offers their share for 10 rupees, but in those days,
No,
a
I'll
company.
tell you what. No, Vodafone market price is like 10 per share now because of the battle which is there with the Vodafone Idea. The market share was 3 rupees or 6 rupees now.
Yes.
I
So
don't
I
know
will
what
also
is
come to
today's
that why it
price. I
was.
have to check.
Yeah. Yeah, I will also tell you why it is at 3 or 5 rupees, but we'll come to that later. What I was trying to tell you is those were the days where you could buy a share for 10 rupees. That was the price the company was offering it at. Because
Yeah.
the market was just developing, the regulator was quite lenient. Nowadays, the regulator says, okay, if you are a company and if you are offering your shares, you can offer it at whatever price you want. So just now, this
Hmm.
SBI card IPO was listed last week. It was offered at
Yeah.
what, 725 rupees. So for a 10 rupee
For
share,
sure.
you had to pay a premium of 725. If this was 1984, you would have got it for 10 rupees, right? So these were the days when a lot of these companies offered these their company shares at 10 rupees. It is called at par. So when it is offered at par, it is offered at face value, which is 10 rupees. Luckily,
Okay.
for whatever reason, that was a time when we were starting and you used to have limited money. So the minimum application used to be for 100 shares, 100 shares into 10 rupees. So that is 1,000 rupees. So
Oh,
people
okay.
used to take chance, invest 1,000 rupees. Many issues used to get oversubscribed. So what we used to do is there were five members in our family: me, my dad, my mom, my sister, my other sister. So we used to put in an application in every name and hopefully expecting at least one or two to get allotted, because in those days also these issues used to get heavily oversubscribed.
Wow.
So that is
Yeah.
how our
Even now.
investment journey started. Yeah.
So the biggest myth which everybody has is it's risky. Don't play with the risk. Even the kind of negativity which is there among people, right? The people, even though I heard about stock markets like 6 years ago, it's always the fear which kicks in. As in, many people don't jump into whatever the savings which they have. Even if you
Yes.
have 10 to 15 lakhs, I invested in properties, and they say cash is king, which is what I love the most. Though I
Yeah.
have 3 to 4 properties right now, I love the fact that now I started loving my parents or in-laws or everybody, because I know the kind of wealth which they have left for my children. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh God, now I started loving them as to the assets and properties which are all around me.
Yeah.
Earlier, I used to
So
hate for the fact that once we pass away, there's nothing left. I always wanted to enjoy the present moment and forget about the future investments. So
yes.
the myth which is around people now, for a beginner like me who wants to get into stock market, I opened my Zerodha account. I opened my Interactive Brokers account, but I
Okay.
realized, I thought, unless you go through some experiential person, like you have that experience or skill set which no school can teach. So I thought, why not chat with known people who are already in the ocean.
So if you go to my Twitter feed today, just an
Okay,
hour back or 1.5 hour back, I have sent out a tweet. Every
okay,
investor in the stock market gets two educations twice. He is educated twice. One is
okay.
the education he receives when he is in school or college, and
Yeah.
the other education is the education the stock markets teach him.
Okay. Yeah, the
So
stock market
whenever
teaching.
you are,
Those are
yeah, so you see, stock market is a great teacher. you have to pay fees to the stock market to learn. You may get a Zerodha account which is free, but to learn the
Yeah.
lessons in the stock market, you have to pay the markets a fee. How do you pay that fee? You pay that fee by investing in stocks in companies in which you make a mistake, then you lose that money. That is the money the stock market takes from you for teaching you what to do and what not to do.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to load
Yeah.
your Twitter profile. So when you learn
Twitter,
it the
yeah,
hard
yeah, yeah.
way,
Yes.
okay, we
If you
have
check it, it
your
will be the third or the
Twitter.
fourth tweet on top. Yeah. Third or the fourth tweet on top, right on top. Just check. Yeah.
Everyone talked about spending quality time with family, COVID-19
Well,
lockdown. Okay, maybe they
just little
actually are
lower.
closer. Notional losses, paper profits. So I started
Yeah.
paper trade. Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Every investor has two educations, one which he receives from school or college, one more important, which is like falling markets, which falling markets teach him. Yeah, the current one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So log into my Twitter, but that's okay. So I'll start following you on Twitter. Normally, I feel
Do that.
Twitter is only
Do that.
for somebody who has millions of followers because I don't see much
No,
traction
no,
on
no.
Twitter.
Yeah.
But again, I tell people Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. But TikTok is recently the organic reach is much higher. If you use
Yeah.
the hashtag EduTalk,
Yeah.
it all depends upon how you use the platform. End of the day, it's a tool.
Yes.
But
Yes.
here, let's not talk about the digital marketing perspective. Let's talk about why would uh, why should anybody follow Deepak or Khemani? Or I just have the only question which I had was like, um, what all we should follow? The paper trading. I set up my account on few paper trading platforms under Money Control, under through Google. You get some paper trading. I'm just playing around with it. So for a beginner, what all tools you suggest, Dada?
Yeah. So it's very important. I want to touch upon one word which you said previously in your previous question. You talked about risk.
Yeah, risk.
When you are investing in the markets, you need to understand there is risk and then there is volatility. Both are different.
Okay.
Most people tend to confuse both these words and use them intermingly. So, people will talk about risk when they are actually meaning volatility. So, let's touch upon this for the next 2 minutes. What is risk
Okay.
and what is volatility?
Okay.
Volatility is movement in the share price. So,
Okay.
or the index. So, let's say today the index was down close to 4,000 points.
Okay.
Or let's talk of a share. Let's say HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank lost 80 rupees today. It was some 850, 860 rupees yesterday. Today it closed at 780. It lost 80 rupees. Now
Okay.
it lost 80 rupees today. Chances are tomorrow or day after or next week it will go back to where it was. Not only go back, it will go higher. When it will happen, I also don't know. But
Okay.
this up and down of the share price is called volatility. This is not
Oh,
risk.
okay.
Your money is not at risk. The price is fluctuating. This is volatility. What is risk? Risk is losing your capital. So let's say you invested 1 lakh rupees in HDFC Bank. The risk is, can the 1 lakh rupees become zero? Can the
No,
1 lakh rupees become
it will never
50,000?
become.
Yes.
It'll-
Right. So that is the difference between risk and volatility. Equity as an asset class, whenever you are investing in equity shares in the share market, you are exposed to volatility if you are investing in good quality companies. However, if you are trading junk, if you are trading companies which do not exist but are favorites of the market, then you risk losing your entire capital. Yes Bank 1 month ago was 5 rupees.
Yeah, I people are lucky, and once they get, okay, continue. I'm sorry. Yes, Bank was ₹5 one
Yes
month back.
Bank 1 month ago was 5 rupees, and Yes Bank 1 year ago was around 600 rupees.
That's true.
So is it risky or is it volatile? So Yes Bank
It
was
is
risky.
volatile.
No, Yes
It
Bank
was
was
okay.
risky. Yeah,
Risky
Yes
because
Bank was
many people
risky.
lost it.
Yes, they see. We need to understand if a share price was, let's say, 600 rupees and now it has become 5 rupees or 10 rupees or whatever. You need to understand, if a price was quoted at 600 rupees, there was a buyer, somebody who bought at 600. Whenever a trade happens in the market, whenever people say I bought a share or I sold a share for X amount, it meant that the transaction happened. When a transaction happens in the stock market, it happens between two people. There is always a buyer and there is always a seller. Only then can a transaction happen, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now the best part of this transaction is both the people who are in this transaction feel they are right. The guy who's selling is thinking, I'm selling it at the right price and the price is going to fall. However, the guy who's buying is thinking, this is the right price to buy and the price is going to go up. The share market is a place where both the sides are always thinking they are right. The buyer thinks he is right, the seller thinks he or she is right.
That's right. That's their perspective, and it'll
Yes,
be like a
yes,
win-win.
yes,
People say it's gambling, don't take the risk, and there's lots of fear involved.
yes,
So for a beginners, now I love the volatility which you have explained, because I believe that's how our breath pattern is also. You are always breathing in and out,
yes,
but you're never
yes,
stopping your breath. You're not dead. So you're dead
exactly.
means you are in ICU. Your brain,
You The stock
there is
market
all.
prices are like your ECG. Your
That is
ECG
right.
goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down. Your heart is always beating. It is relaxing, it is contracting, it is relaxing, it is contracting. What if it was a straight line?
It's
If
a
it was
straight
a
line.
straight line, you would be
You're
dead.
you're not in the stock
Exactly.
market. You are in the
Yeah.
graveyard.
Yeah. So whenever you are investing in the stock market, either directly by buying stocks or shares, or you are investing via mutual funds, you need to remember that stock prices are volatile. Prices will go up and they will go down. Consequently, your portfolio values will go up and they will go down. What can you
Okay.
do? Let's say I buy only one share. Let's say Reliance
Okay.
Industries or HDFC Bank or Infosys or TCS. Let's say I buy only one company. Now, all 100% of my money is there in one company and is totally dependent upon that company doing well always, which we know will never be the case. There will always be ups and downs in every company's uh, time, during their history, during their business. However, if I buy a portfolio, I buy a portfolio of the top 20, 30 stocks. I buy TCS, I buy Infosys, I buy HDFC Bank, I buy Kotak Bank, I buy Tata Motors, I buy Tata Steel. I buy the top 30 or maybe the top 50 companies in India. Chances
Okay.
are all top 30 or all top 50 will never fail or never go down at the same time.
That is
They will
true.
always be in the market because they are in different industries. There is banking, there is autos, there is steel, there is production, there is oil, there are so many things. So whenever you are investing, my first advice to people is don't buy individual stocks, buy a portfolio. So the
Okay.
easiest way to buy a portfolio of stocks is buy the index. If you're buying the BSE Sensex, it is called the BSE 30. Why is it called the BSE 30? Because it has got 30 stocks. 30. Similarly, the
Okay.
NSE Nifty 50, the name itself tells you it has 50 stocks, it has got 50 companies. So if you are a first time investor, you never invested in the stock markets before, my advice to people is invest via the index, either the Sensex or the Nifty, or via a mutual fund wherein there is a fund manager who is again creating a portfolio of 30, 40, 50, sometimes even 60 stocks. By creating a
Okay.
portfolio, what you are doing is you are reducing the risk and you are reducing the volatility both. If you have a portfolio of 50 stocks, all 50 companies will never go bust. Maybe one could go, right? So the risk
That
is
is
now
right.
gone. The 49 will always be there. Volatility, instead of investing only in one or two or three companies which are extremely volatile, because you have got a portfolio of 30, 40, 50 stocks, your portfolio is less volatile. You can't remove the
Okay.
volatility, you can reduce it. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. That's awesome. So now, again, back to the question: when you are 18 or 19, Deepak ji, how did you
Yeah.
play? Like, did you play with real money of 500,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees? How did the journey go from KG
Yes.
to PG for
Good
first
question.
12 years?
Yeah. So As I told you, in those days, the investment in any IPO was only 1,000
True.
rupees. You had to apply for 100 shares and you got allotted, you invested 1,000 rupees. So, over a period
Okay.
of the next 5, 10, 15 years, we kept on investing in companies like these. So, over these 10, 15 years, we could have probably invested in maybe 30, 40, or even 50 companies where we got these
Okay.
allotments. Out of this 50, I can tell you at least 20 of them disappeared. The
Oh,
company took the money, started a factory, started a business, and after 2 years, after 3 years, after 5 years, at least
will
30% of
bankrupt.
our investment companies went bankrupt, disappeared, got delisted from the market. Here, this is the time when we learned about portfolio diversification because there were 50 companies and 20 disappeared. The rest 30 compensated for the loss which those 20 companies gave. So now,
Okay.
these companies which we were left with, the 30 companies which we were left with, went up to such an extent that not only did they compensate the loss of these 20, but also gave us handsome gains. I can tell you, I have got HDFC Bank allotted at 10 rupees in those days.
Wow.
Today the HDFC Bank 10 rupee share. Today the HDFC Bank 1 rupee share is 780 today. So if it was a 10 rupee share, it would be 7,800.
Per
So a
share.
10
Yeah.
rupee investment, 10 rupee investment 25 years ago has become 7,800. Just 15
Okay.
days back, it was 12,000.
Yeah. Let's also the people. There are a couple of guys who are coming on, and of the people who are watching.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that you were consistent. So you never got distracted. Apart from your business into finance, what do you do, Deepak ji, full time? Like, what
Okay.
made you write the
Good
book
question.
Compounding Eighth Wonder?
Good question. So, good question. Now, by qualification, I am actually an electronic engineer.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
whenever we were growing up, there was we all used to. How old are you, Raj?
I am 40.
You're 40. Okay, so I think you will understand what I'm saying over here. So, whenever we were growing up, we used to have the TVs and these VCRs and these audio
Yeah.
systems in our house as
Yeah. Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
and we all know that they used to fail at some time or another, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we used to call this technician, this engineer. He used to come to our house, open it up, and then in 5, 10 minutes, he used to identify there is something wrong. He used to replace it, and lo and behold, the thing used to start working.
Yeah.
So I was really fascinated by how this person came to our house. He opened up our TV. How did he come to know out of those 200 parts how that one thing is defective? He removes it, takes it out, and repairs it. So that pushed us into electronics. So I did my electronics and video engineering, and I was an
Oh.
electronics and video engineer for almost 20 years. So when you talk about video and when you talk about electronics, I'm also an ex-techie. Uh, I was the
Okay.
techie
That's
from the
awesome.
hardware side. I'm from the hardware side. I used to go inside, see what is there, why this particular thing is not working. Let's change this, repair this, and get it back to life. That is what I used to do for a good, let's say, 25, almost 30 years of my life. But because finance was like a home business, something which was there in the family, it was always there. So the investing part was always there. We always used to have people coming to our place to ask where to invest, where to save. So we used to offer small savings products, PPF, mutual funds, LIC policies to all our clients. So that always used to be there in the back of the mind. Then at one point, my dad said, I have established this business. You are doing your electronics thing. Stop doing it. Come and take care of the business which I have established over my 30, 40 years. So that is when we totally moved 100% into investing and financial planning.
Oh, okay. But again, so as an electronical engineer, in fact, I love the fact
Yeah.
that you mentioned the hardware part of the video
Yeah.
because I love the VCR days. Even I used to uh, play around with the post production part, the VCR tapes.
Yeah.
Even I have
Yeah.
the hundreds of tapes in my home right now.
Yes,
Uh,
me too. Me too.
really.
Oh,
so,
yes, yes.
so understanding the latest browser based issues. I mean, with respect to the kind of questions, normally when it comes to trading or going through portfolio, going through highs and lows, are the terms which are there used in the paper trading. Like, did you ever get to practice in the paper trading? I thought instead of playing around with 1 lakh or 3 lakh or 5 lakhs with the kind of real money, I have started practicing on paper accounts, like paper trading accounts,
which
which
is
are
actually a
available.
good thing. Yeah. So most of these online trading websites give you an option to trade with money which is virtual. So you buy something or you trade. If you lose, you do not lose anything from your pocket because it was virtual money. But we also need to understand the difference between trading and investing. This is very
Okay.
important for a person who's coming into the stock markets. Most of these online websites or these brokerage websites, let it be Interactive Brokers or Zerodha or Money Control or even ICICI Direct or anyone, you need to understand one thing. Most of these websites are brokers. So they
Okay.
will
Yeah.
make money when you buy and when you sell. So what they are trying to tell you is they are trying to encourage you to trade. However, trading is different from investing. Trading is what you buy today, sell it tomorrow, buy today, sell it after a week, buy today, sell it after a month. You make a profit or you make a loss and you exit your investment. Investment is not trading. Investment is buying something and holding on to it for dear life. Now, as I told you, I am holding HDFC Bank since it came out in 1994, if I'm not wrong, at 10 rupees.
Okay.
Okay. So this compounding which HDFC Bank has given, the 10 rupees having becoming 7,800 today, is happening or has happened because we have held on to it. So if you are an investor, you spoke about those real estate properties which your family, your dad has left for you or has kept for you, and you are very happy. Why are you very happy? Because they were bought 20, 30, 35, 40 years ago at a very cheap price. And over the period of years, they have appreciated in value. Compounding has happened. Now you are benefiting, you are reaping the rewards of compounding. So
Yeah,
even
I
when you are
was I was never
investing,
happy in the last 1 week after attending the stock market by Reshwin Rajendran and Dr. Manipavitra and all the people who are like the buffet online school. I'm happy
yeah,
only in the last 1 week. I was not happy earlier. I'm like, क्या करते प्रॉपर्टी के लिए सब लोग anyway मरना है सब लोग
yeah,
anyway जाना है. But
yeah,
looking at my two kids, I thought, okay, wow, it's a good investment they have made. Now I
yes, yes,
started valuing them for the kind of thought flow they had. They don't
yes.
have portfolios. They don't market themselves as the mini Warren Buffets in our
Yes.
lives. Like every
Yeah.
family has got a Warren Buffet of their own. I guess in
Yes.
Khemani's family, you are the Warren Buffett for sure.
No, no. So what I'm
Because
telling you, I want to touch upon that one word. You said investment.
yeah,
Investment in real estate, investment in property. You need to understand. If you are an investor and if you are making an investment, it has to be for the long term. What is long term? That is not defined. It could be 5 years, it could be 8 years, it could be 20 years. You cannot define that. But longer the period, higher the return. That is what is there in my book, Compounding the Eighth Wonder. For so if anybody is listening, of course I am promoting my book, but the cost of the book is 299 rupees. 299 rupees is less than a movie ticket, less than what you pay for a bucket of popcorn in a movie. But when you read this book, this tells you what compounding is, what compounding does, and how compounding works. If you buy something like a property which you said your dad may have bought, say, 20 years ago, they may have bought it at what, 5,000 rupees. Today it may be valued at 50 lakhs, maybe a crore rupees. This is what compounding is, and this is what compounding does. Compounding works and it works over time. So even when you are investing in the stock market, when you are buying shares or even a mutual fund, give it time, give it years. Don't track it on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Let me sit down on my Interactive Brokers account. I bought Facebook, I bought Apple, I bought it at $5. Today it is 540. Should I buy? Should I sell? No. If you are an investor, you're not tracking your investments daily, weekly, or even monthly, probably every year, and you are keeping on investing regularly.
yeah. So I was wondering the same. I just created my account on Interactive Brokers.
yeah,
and I'm wondering, okay, if you buy the stocks of at least 10 to 15, the top companies which will anyway spring post corona, but I heard from few doctors there is no post corona because it's going to be viral in Italy and in US. Everybody is going to be doomed for
yeah.
next 6 months is what I heard.
No, 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 no. See,
Again,
it's like
every
any other virus. It is like any other virus, just like a common cold. Whenever the season changes, we get a cold, we get a flu, we are down for 3 or 4 days and it disappears. This virus also, probably a month later, or maybe even 2 months, or maximum 3 months, once the heat comes, it will mutate, it will disappear, and it will go and make another virus and it will do something else. So I think what we need to understand, even though this is not a virus related show going on, but since you spoke on it, see, 2 or 3 months later, we will probably just be thinking about virus as something which happened and it was a part of history. It gave us a big scare. See, big minds, big politicians, big governments of the world, all of them are fighting it. Because all of them are fighting it, and there is this one thing that we need to win over it, we will win over it. It will be just another passing phase in history. We will talk to our children about it, or maybe grandchildren, saying we went through this period.
Yeah, I heard few people saying this is coronavirus is again kind of a game which people play to have volatility in markets, as you mentioned. But again, we don't know until what
Nobody
happens
knows.
after one
Yeah,
year from now.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
the entire journey which is there out there,
yeah.
the kind of journey which is there in US or Italy, Europe, it's very scary. Now I'm going to now. What made you write the compounding book? I
Yeah.
was waiting
Good.
for.
Yes. Good question. So good question. So around almost a year and a half, maybe even 2 years ago, one of my well wishers came to my office and we were just talking about a few things. And he said that you have got so much knowledge. Why don't you write a book?
Okay,
So I said, okay, let's start writing a book. And during that time, Success Gyan had a book writing seminar.
yeah. Suren liked
I
our
don't know.
video. In
Yes.
fact, Surendran Jayashekhar from Success Gyan. I was shocked
Yeah.
to see him like our
Uh,
our
I follow
video.
him now.
Maybe he watched
Yeah.
it for a
So,
few minutes. Maybe he.
yeah.
So he saw us live, and that's okay.
Yes.
So Success
Yeah.
Gyan,
So,
anyway, it changed many people's lives. So did you
yeah.
get this published through Success Gyan?
No, so I didn't get it published through Success Gyan, but they had a 3 day book writing boot camp in Mumbai 2 years back,
Okay,
August of 2018.
okay,
So there we learned the structure, how to write a book, how to structure it, how to design a title, and all that. So all that training happened in that 3 day seminar, and I started writing my first book. Now,
okay.
last year, TEDx happened in Mumbai, TEDx Gateway Unplugged,
Yeah.
and I got a chance to speak on that stage.
Okay.
And I spoke upon compounding. Compounding is one part of investing. So my first book, which I had started writing, compounding actually was just one chapter of it. But I got the chance to speak at the TEDx Gateway Unplugged event. And in that event, one guy like you, he is also into video making and video editing and all that, something similar to what you do. He also does it in Mumbai. So
Okay.
at that, after my talk, he approached me. He said, "Deepak, we are in the process of marketing videos." He does something which is very similar to TED Talks or Josh Talks. He has got something called Best Talks,
Oh,
Best
okay.
Talks. Yeah. So business, education, S is storytelling, and a T is, I think, something for technology. So he said, "Why don't you do a Best Talks with us?" So
Oh, okay.
immediately after this TED Talk, I went and did my Best Talk with him, which was on compounding. And I'll, I don't know whether you will believe me or not. It is a 16-minute talk, and we did it in one take without a break.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So once this video was over and it was released, I thought, I am writing a book. This talk of mine can actually become a book in itself. So
Wow.
the
Okay.
first book which I started writing is still in the writing phase. It has not yet got completed. Compounding
Okay.
the Eighth Wonder got completed because of the TED Talk and the Best Talk. Within that,
Okay.
this book came about, and I quickly sat down, wrote it, published it, and the day it was released on Amazon, it became bestseller. And as they say, the rest is history. So that is what
Yeah.
happened. So this first book of mine is actually book number two, which got printed first. Book number one is still in progress.
Okay. Now the book number three is coming based upon this talk, I would say. Nah, you should start like TED Talks. Probably you should start Stock Stories by Deepak R. Khemani. Probably the
Good suggestion. Good suggestion.
yeah, because stories, we know your story, right? Your story is so
Yes.
successful because of
Yeah.
that. But in the last 30, 40 years, you have seen enough stories and your mind is filled with lots of examples. Probably every walk you go in the morning. Um, I was wondering, Hare, who can talk about finance? And I was wondering, and your name popped up into my mind.
Thank you.
So
Thank
I
you for
thought,
inviting me. Yeah.
we have Sairaj Mahesh Nukla. He's saying, what
Okay.
happens if India is hit by hyperinflation? What if we are closing the transportation travel across states and also countries like 200 rupees for kg tomato? Is that normal for fruits and vegetables? How do we
Yeah.
recover from this recession which is happening now and the inflation? So his question is, how could we recover from the recession that is happening right now?
So this is actually a very good question and very apt in today's times. See, I'll tell you, nobody has an answer to this question, because what is happening just now is something which we are going through as a part of history. Nobody has seen a virus of this scale do so much damage in such short a time in the last 30 or 40 years. The earliest thing which I can remember was smallpox. We were in school, and in those days, mass level of vaccination of smallpox was done. The I remember being in school and sitting in school, and the municipal authorities used to come and vaccinate every student, every person, every house in the society, in the school. Everybody was mass vaccinated. So in the last 30, 40 years, we haven't seen a virus which has affected us so much as this has done. So now borders are being closed, travel is being restricted. Just now today they have announced in Mumbai, Maharashtra, that all district level travel has also been closed. So I can't go out of Bombay, a person in Pune can't come into Bombay, and so on. And I'm sure Telangana and Andhra Pradesh also, the same thing across India is happening. So there
That
will
is
be
right.
so there will be a short term problem. Daily essential items, you mentioned tomatoes becoming 200 rupees kilo. It is possible. It is possible that this may happen, and this is a pain which all of us have to go through. But why do we have to go through this? Is because all of us have to be in lockdown, and that is the only way this virus can be stopped. The spread can be stopped. So they say in we've always heard this before, that no pain, no gain. So this short term pain which all of us will experience, some of us will experience it unfortunately larger. There are people who are daily wage earners, who depend upon daily income for their family survival. I really don't know how these people will survive. I know a lot of suffering will be there, but
Yeah,
it is really, really.
I was wondering about them because couple of Facebook posts, the people who work on daily wages, there is no
Yeah.
work, and at least we have a roof on our head.
Yes.
We are at least
Yes.
able to eat and
Yes.
browse internet.
Yeah.
But the other
Yeah.
people, they can't even have the regular meal.
So actually, I can take this opportunity for all those people who are watching, and will be watching it later on in the recording. If you have a maid, if you know somebody who is a watchman, if you know somebody who is a daily wage laborer, somebody who's selling vegetables at the corner of your road, who's unable to sell his wares because of all this lockdown which is happening, each and everyone should, in our own small way, try and help these people.
Yeah, that's right. Even my wife was scared to go out, step out, and bring some veggies or
Yeah.
vegetables, and like the fear is still there, though the
Yes, the
numbers
fear
are
will
in
be there.
two
Yeah.
or three digits.
Yeah.
So for somebody who wants to work on paper trading, do you have
Yeah.
any tools or tips or websites right on top of your head, like something which you browse on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I think you mentioned two, correct? You mentioned interactive brokers,
Interactivebrokers.com, moneycontrol.com, or we have
moneycontrol.com,
investopedia.com. Now,
investopedia.com.
the
There is
Khemani's
Core
I've
Spread.
searched, the
Yeah.
Khemani's website. It's
No,
still
he's
under
not
water.
operating. He still
Yeah,
under construction. Yes. Yeah.
but I'll tell you what, you're
Yeah.
doing good. You're doing awesome.
Yeah.
We don't need our own technology. We don't need the websites.
Yeah.
What we need is only the tools. In fact, Facebook is also just like daily blogging. We don't realize
Yeah.
the front
Yes.
end is daily blogging.
Yeah.
Uh, but the back end is like it's your journal. You're documenting your journey on a daily basis. The
Yes.
same thing with
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes.
So, be it any social media platform which you are using, these are ready-made websites which are available, but you
Yes.
have your own diary, your own journal which you can document on a daily basis. Some
Yes.
people they don't do it.
Yeah.
Uh, People try and wait for traction on uh, Twitter, or people wait for traction on other social media platforms. But I would strongly suggest you to be on TikTok also, because there are lots of financial gurus on TikTok, Deepak ji,
Okay. Okay.
who started with 10 followers, 100 followers. They have millions of followers today.
Oh wow.
There's a TikTok channel which I follow by name Fin Street. It's called like Financial Street, like Dalal
Okay.
Street and all. This guy
Yes.
is
Yes.
awesome. He sells his courses for 500 rupees to goes to 5,000, 10,000. I'll send you
Okay.
he uses the hashtag EduTalk. EduTalk is all about
And
educating people.
yeah.
So when it comes to finance sector, again, it's been close to 45 minutes of your valuable time. There are still people who are coming on and off and going, but end of the day, the main reason I streamed it to Facebook is we have few following on Facebook. There are people who are there who will watch us.
Yeah.
So for newcomers, again, as we end in the last 45 minutes, probably another 4 minutes, it'll be 45 minutes. But for newcomers who are getting into stock market, for people who are into trading, people who don't know anything about the terms and the terminology which is being used, what do you suggest?
Yeah. Okay. So one thing is very important is if you are brand new, you have no knowledge, you do not know anything about the stock market. I would suggest you follow someone, follow someone on social media, follow somebody physically if you know who actually does that, and just observe him for 2, 3, 6 months. Just see what he is doing. Just listen to what he is saying. Just keep on following what he is doing. Don't do the buying and selling yourself because you do not have the capacity. See, it's like this: when you are learning to drive a car, you will go to a driving school, and on
I
the
love the
first day,
analogy.
yeah, he will
I
not give you
love.
the keys to the car. He will not allow you to put on the ignition. He will show you this is the steering wheel, this is the gear, this is the brake, this is the accelerator. This is what you need to do for the first few days or for the first few weeks. Just observe. Don't hit the accelerator, don't switch on the engine, don't jump in with your money expecting it to double in the next few days or few weeks. See what people are doing, just observe them, then follow them and tell them this is my journey, this is what I am starting. Then your driving teacher tells you have to start your car in neutral and then go to first gear. Then you start in neutral, go to first gear, stop. You will get stuck, your car will stop again. In 5 minutes of drive your car will stop 10 times. You will switch it on again, you will go to first gear. You will never get it right in the beginning. Same thing with trading or investing in the stock market. You will never get it right in the beginning. You will always lose money. So there are two ways to learn. As I said, lose money, pay the market and learn. Rather, pay that money to somebody else or spend that time. They say time is money, so spend that time. Effectively you have spent money. Spend time, learn from someone, then dive in slowly, slowly. It's like swimming, no? When you're swimming, you can't go to the big dive. You have to first test the waters, whether it is cold, whether it is warm. Then you jump in with a jacket. After a few days, you remove the jacket, then you go towards the deep. Same thing for trading and investing. Don't jump in deep right in the beginning.
Wow. Thank you so much, Deepak ji. It's been awesome. I'll wait to hear the stock stories by Deepak or Khemani, which are going to be
Good.
unique.
It's
I
it's a good
wanted,
idea. Yeah, yeah.
no, the this like this Karan Johar, na, he says, Alexa, switch on the lights.
Yeah.
Alexa, switch on the rapid fire round lights.
Tell,
So I
tell me a
wanted,
stock story by Deepak. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, probably you can do that. So play
Why
around
not,
with
man?
SEO. I'll forward the TikTok thing also to you on WhatsApp, the
Sure. Please
EduTalk
do that. Do that.
guide. It's
Yeah.
been awesome. Probably I'll try and have another conversation with you.
Anytime.
But 45 minutes of your valuable time, Deepak or Kemanji. It's pleasure knowing you. I'll buy your book on Amazon. I'll start
Thank you
reading
for
it
that.
also. That'll be the first book
Yeah.
which I'll buy in the finance sector in
Wow.
my life, or in the finance journey, or in stock markets. I'll
Yeah.
try and find out what is that eighth wonder. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And the link to this will be again on my Facebook page. Probably we'll have another as and when you have time. I wanted you to do lots of the same StreamYard on other platforms. In fact, LinkedIn
Anytime.
Live application, I think I've sent you that also through WhatsApp. It's not easy to get that application approved through LinkedIn Live. But
Okay.
whatever the time you spend on Twitter, I wanted you to spend it on TikTok, because there are lots
Let's
of fans who would love to learn from you. So
let's
there are
do that.
lots of
Yeah. Let's
people.
try it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the HDFC 10 rupee bond of 1984,
Yeah.
but
94.
it is it
94.
is it is it is worth looking at it
Yeah.
5 years or 10 years down the line. Again, when we have another conversation, I would
Yeah.
love to see many fans or millions of people getting empowered through the stories which you are going to share. If you could enable those people to make some money, that'll be awesome.
Yes.
If you can enable
Yes.
some people to
Yeah.
gain couple of thousands or couple of lakhs, if people can make money by following us, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I'll wait to hear those stories. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Deepak
So
ji.
before we close, I'll just give you a small tip. We shouldn't call it a tip, but it's just a small suggestion.
Yes,
Once
sir.
you have once you have entered the market and you think you are buying, I can tell you this: don't buy stocks, buy businesses. Remember, you are not buying Infosys when you are buying Infosys. You are buying Infosys, the business. You are buying Infosys, the company which has got thousands and millions and dollars of revenue and thousands of lakhs of profit. So look at it this way: you are not buying a stock which you will buy and sell. You are buying a business. When you are buying one share of Reliance, just understand, Mukesh Ambani, you are an equitable partner in his company. He is actually working for you. When you are buying TCS, the top management at Tata is working for you. When you are
That's
buying
true.
Tata Steel. So remember this: don't buy and sell. Don't trade for 10 paisa, 50 paisa, 1 rupee, 2 rupees. Buy a company, buy a business which will keep on working even when you are not there.
Yeah, so I guess those, in fact, I heard the same quote from Warren Buffett saying investing is all about buying good businesses at a reasonable price.
Right.
That
Yes.
to looking at the long-term investment,
Yes.
because again,
Yes.
you're buying when you are investing, that's like the value investing. I guess
Yeah.
I could read more of those things in your book, but after going through
Yes.
your book, I don't know if I might sound like Arabic, or it might sound like
No, no.
Spanish or
It is
French.
it is in plain simple English, and eighth standard student can understand it. Eighth standard student.
Ha, ठीक है. So I'll also gift it to my daughter or son.
Please
In
do
fact,
that.
I
Please do
wanted
that.
my 7-year-old son or 9-year-old daughter also to get into the world of investment. I
Yes.
started playing with
Good.
them. Uh, by looking at them, I thought, okay, wow, why is this not taught in schools? Why we
Exactly.
are
That
only
is what
taught
I have
to.
said in my book. Why is this not taught in schools? Why does it take a person who has experience of 35 years to write a book and then tell people, please read my book? Why isn't this taught in school?
Okay, so probably every person who reads your book also, you can start documenting their journeys
Yes.
through StreamYard. StreamYard is free, like Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. These are all the tools which are free. We don't value them, but
Yes.
the air which we breathe is free. The water which we drink
Yes.
is free. Our
Yeah.
life, we don't value whatever the things which are given to us by God Almighty for free.
Yes.
But
Yes.
our human mind sees value only once we put some money to it. That's a
Yes.
different mindset which we've been
Yes.
grown with the environment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much, Deepak ji. We can
Thank
have
you for having
the
me. Yeah.
conversation, and I'll show you how the back end of this tool looks like. it's
Yeah,
been.
yeah,
Let me show you the screen.
yeah.
I'll stop the screen share and I'll show you. Again, I wanted to do this because this will be like a quick. Okay, I'm sharing the screen now. You can see what's happening in the back end. It'll be like a matrix effect, but don't get scared by looking at. So if you could see the screen right now.
Yeah,
Now this is the main tool. So this is one. There are few images. So this is my image. But if I
yeah.
click on this, we both are visible.
Both are
If you
there.
click
Yes.
on this, it's like a mirror effect of both of us. But
Yeah.
when we have 4 or 5 people, we all of us can be in this platform. So if you want
Yes.
to share what's on the screen, I'm sharing my screen. This is the screen which I'm sharing. So earlier
Okay.
I shared your YouTube. I shared. Now you're looking at my WhatsApp.
Okay.
So now you're looking at the TEDx, LinkedIn, again
Yes.
Facebook. So it's
Yeah.
like you're sharing your entire desktop. You're flipping
Yeah.
over. So the tool is something which is very easy. It's not not at all scary. And I've connected with these guys on LinkedIn also. And many people. There is this lady by name Dr. I. She runs a school by name